Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. This is your latest transfer news and it's a late one, but it's an exciting one as well. I think for me, I've got to say, I feel really happy for Newcastle. It's been a torrid summer. This will lead to Isak to Liverpool as well, so Liverpool fans need to be getting excited. But Newcastle, you've been turned down by Delap, Pedro, Ekatike, Šeško and many more. But you've actually ended up with an absolutely brilliantly exciting striker. Now, we have got Bundesliga matches live on this channel on a Friday night. Tune in tomorrow night. Our highlights show is there for you to watch from week one. But if you watched week one, you'll know about Woltemade. The 20-year, I think he's 21 or 22 now, actually, had a very good Euros for Germany. But he was meant to be going to Bayern. They'd been chasing him all summer. He plays for Stuttgart, Nick Woltemade. Very exciting striker, tall but very good feet. He is coming to the Premier League. He is going to Newcastle and he should therefore lead to Isak going to Liverpool. So it's a big night in this transfer window. There's a lot going on. I think it's going to carry on for the next few days. But for me, this is one of those sort of signings that, you know, maybe you've got to be a little bit hip. Maybe you've got to be a little bit watching the Bundesliga on That's Football, but literally was talking about him on the highlights show as a player that was at Stuttgart, very highly rated, very, very talented, very unique style of football, one of those tall, technical players. And there was lots of talk that he was going to go to Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich didn't want to pay the 80 million euro package that Newcastle have. And suddenly, I think Newcastle are a very watchable prospect this season. We watched them against Villa. We watched them against Liverpool. They're a really good side without a cutting edge. Have they found their cutting edge? Very excited to see Woltemade coming in to Stuttgart. And again, it's just another vindication of the talent in the Bundesliga. Another big signing coming in. And there are so many young players that I think are going to strike out this year at Frankfurt and there's the Ilias at Union Saint-Berlin. So keep an eye on that. Brilliant signing for Newcastle. And of course, this is what Ben Jacobs is saying. Woltemade is seen as the Isak replacement. Liverpool will not bid against themselves or go close to £150 million. They will remain disciplined given they are Isak's only suitor. If Newcastle give encouragement, talks will continue with a fresh bid anticipated. Liverpool don't view their first bid of 110 million as low, despite Newcastle's sources saying it that way. Isak's still intent on joining Liverpool. So look, I think there's been so many stones thrown by people across this summer when all I ever said, and some of you agreed with, was that patience was needed. I felt Newcastle would land on their two strikers eventually, and when they did, Isak would get his move to Liverpool. And I think all this, you know, name calling, wishing Isak gets injured nonsense is just going to end up, those people are going to end up looking really silly because Newcastle are going to make money, a British transfer record. Liverpool are going to get a good player. And Newcastle are going to end up with two good strikers and a very good team and Champions League football, which they earned last year. So I think this is good for Newcastle. And look, you know what I would say to Newcastle? Who was Isak when you brought him in from Spain? He was a potential talent that people were like, fair play. No one else has took a punt on him. Newcastle have. This could work out really well. £120 million well. Woltemade, a little bit more expensive than Isak. But again, this could be looking at it again. And you know, Newcastle are not Brighton. They're in the Champions League. Yes, they still have to sell, but if you're selling to Liverpool for British transfer records and you're lining up at the players like that, it's not the end of the world until you get where you want to get. And Newcastle are on a journey. I think it's exciting, and I'm pleased for them. Well, I'm pleased for their fans that they've landed on a really exciting player. And some of them fans might not know him, and some of them, you know, a lot of you watching might not realise it. But he comes with a big reputation, and it'll be very exciting to see how he does in the Premier League. Young player as well, very exciting player. Garnacho has gone to Chelsea. We've been talking about that over on the United Stand. If you didn't see it, Chelsea fans, let me know your thoughts. Look, I've said a lot on the United Stand about Garnacho. Trying to be a little bit level-headed over here. He's a ridiculously talented player with a ridiculously inflated ego. He idolises Ronaldo and he acts like Ronaldo, but he doesn't realise how Ronaldo acted when he was 21. He didn't act like the way Garnacho does. So he's going to have to grow up. And at Chelsea, can he grow up? He never gets injured. He always wants to play football. He's shat all over Man United fans, to be honest with you. And maybe Chelsea fans find that funny, but sometimes that can, lightning can strike twice. So, look, all I'd say to Chelsea fans, I think he's really talented, but obviously he comes with a bit of baggage. But that deal's done. Xavi Simons is interesting because I've heard that he might be going to Spurs now. It's been a very, very busy day and it's sort of hard to keep up to speed with everything that's going on. There's still talk of Guehi and Isak going to Liverpool before the window closes. So I think we'd be wrong not to expect that. As I say, if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be a little bit worried. Then you just expect Chelsea to go and make that happen, don't you? But I don't know. Maybe Xavi Simons is a very good player, a very, very good player. Still very young, very technically gifted. He would be an asset whether he ends up in London at Chelsea or Spurs. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But look, the volume of shows might increase for the next few days because big things are happening. But it's interesting, isn't it? I always said Isak would end up at Liverpool, and I'm not going to sit and say I told you so because it's not even happened yet. But it's interesting to see just when that's going to happen. There are still 4 days left in this window. Also, let me just defend myself here a minute. I did in my Premier League predictions, I said that the first managerial sacking would be Patrick Bamford. And I got clipped up and everyone took the piss. Well, breaking news, Patrick Bamford's been sacked by Leeds. His contract has been terminated. The only finer detail I got wrong is that he's not the manager. He's a player. But I did say he would get sacked. So in a way, that was ridiculously insightful. So there we go. But obviously, he's not the manager, but I did get it wrong. But yeah, I await the comments. I'm very excited about Woltemade. Obviously, we're very proud here as a community to have Bundesliga live matches and highlights. And I feel that, over the next 9 months, we're going to be unveiling a few more of these Woltemaders and players that are just going to keep coming out of a very exciting league. And I wish him all the best. And I think he's a very exciting talent. And yeah, I think Newcastle deserve it. The thing about Newcastle is we've all took the piss out of them because they haven't been able to buy somebody. But I've always said, at least they're showing ambition. Like, some people just sit on there. I mean, look at Villa. They've not really bought anybody. At least Newcastle are trying to buy players. There is an intent and a desire to spend big money. And, this is where they land. So, well done to them. And I'm very excited to see how it gets on. And obviously, I think for Liverpool fans, it's great news as well. Get your comments in. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. And I'll speak to you on the next one in the morning. Take care.